Alright, so has the analysis desk assembled?
Oh yeah, it's like I'm the double lift of England, obviously.
Double lift you? You're not.
No,
A,
no.
you're
Just
not.
as big
You're
an
not.
arsehole. I'm kidding. I'm
Oh
kidding.
wow,
Wow. Now I know
Right,
where Dalsum's fire went because that was all but born.
Okay, guys, maintain professional attitude here. Um, so yeah, that was a really good game actually. I was watching obviously from the sidelines. Um, Staff seemed to have the upper hand early on, and you guys obviously casting through it. I have to say, AJMorgan, very, very good vein mechanics, despite the fact he did lose out. I was very impressed with some of his plays. And that lane swap is really a good tactic versus Manchester because if you can shut down Quarren and keep Mr. TD under control, actually, what a lot of people tend to say is that those are the two strongest lanes for Manchester. And so that lane swap really did a good job of shutting Quarren out. But in my opinion, they just let the game run on too long, and Quarren was farming way better than the Aatrox. He picked up his Trinity Force, and once a Jax has a Trinity Force, he's laughing, really. What did you guys think? Because, honestly, I think Staffs did have the upper hand, but Manchester just known for their team fights,
Yeah.
and they showed exactly why they were known for it.
I mean, I think Staff so many times brought it to kind of a level pegging after a couple of really good team fights and some great vein mechanics, as you say, early into that game. And there was one particular team fight that I kind of felt that in the top lane, under that, in the bottom lane, sorry, under that second turret, where Vayne managed to make really, really strong plays and actually come out with that ace, Oriana picking up the Sona kill. However, Vayne then opted to buy a stinger from that to build into the Zephyr. And right there, rather than buying that stinger, I expected to see something that could snowball her and take the next team fight. And once they brought it back to that kind of level pegging, there was never really a proper moment where they took the lead as such. So
The problem for me is that Vayne was probably the strongest player on the Staff's team right there, and there was nothing really bar the Lulu that was there to protect her, and not having picked up a GA meant that she was easy target for Jax, and although Jax was 0-5-0, he was 0-5-0, which actually played out to the advantage of Manchester because it meant that he wasn't worth much gold at that point in the game. He hadn't picked up any assists, but he was farming a hell of a lot better than the Aatrox, and if you just leave a Jax for that long, he's going to cause troubles in terms of pushing these global objectives and wreaking havoc in a team fight. Because if you can get that stun off on Vayne, then she's sort of a sitting duck for the rest of the team.
Right,
But
so
we
what?
do.
Alright, okay, well, externally was way to say anyways, so I'll just let him go on with it.
No, yes, I was just saying we do have AJMorgan, the Vayne player from Staffs, joining us in TeamSpeak just to offer up a couple of his opinions. AJ, I've got to say, like, you played really well that game. What do you think went wrong for you? Because you were in a really commanding position at one point.
Yeah, I think we just did a lot of basic things wrong. There was like some fundamental communication errors that we came up with, like people just going on things when people were saying to back out, and just a lot of stupid things like that. And we had obviously the item builds weren't as optimal as they probably should have been, but there's a lot of rust we have to go off. We haven't actually played since last Sunday. So there's a lot of things we need to iron out, and that was a warm-up game for a lot of our team, because especially our mid laner had a family emergency over the weekend, so they've been away doing stuff. They only got back about half an hour before the game. But yeah, it was just a lot of basic fundamental things we did wrong. And we let Jax get way too much farm top lane after we switched lanes.
But in terms of if space goes right now.
Rawr, bunning in front of everyone, that's how I rule. I do want to ask you about Vayne in particular. What was your thought process behind going Zephyr over Last Whisper?
I didn't trust myself to dodge charms, and I knew if Jax jumped on me, he'd stun me, and Lulu could polymorph him, so I wanted the tenacity. Also, it's just a bit of a comfort item on Vayne. I just do quite enjoy building it and getting a lot of attack speed, and it makes me run fast, so people think I have good mechanics.
I press Q, therefore mechanics.
Yeah, pretty much.
And in terms of AD carries, what other ones do you look to play? Is it mainly the Vayne, or what can we see from future games? Sorry, because I might give other teams a chance to ban you out.
That's fine. I don't know. I feel quite confident on most AD carries. I've got quite a lot of experience with all of them. I mean, my two most played of Vayne and Ezreal, but I mean, it's not hard to figure that out if you just look at my match history. But yeah, but I feel pretty confident on most of them. So We could be seeing anything coming out, really. Depends
And
what people pick.
when you saw that Ezreal being picked by Manchester, being an Ezreal player, did that scare you straight away? Is that why you made that lane switch?
No, that was more a thing to just give me free farm on Vayne and try and shut down Jax. And it worked initially. We got 2 kills on Jax in the lane. We got the turret quite quickly. We didn't switch quick enough, and then we just left the lane open for Jax when we did switch. We had Aatrox roaming to Dragon and things, and Jax managed to catch up. So it didn't really work out quite how we'd hoped. But it still went okay early for us in the 2v1, I feel.
Yeah, but otherwise, like, you guys did really pull ahead, and I was actually looking forward to it. But Manchester are known for having this really powerful teamfight phase, and they just seem to play them ever so slightly better, because your laning phase, especially the way you played it, you actually came out and were a lot stronger, especially when you pushed that first turret. You shut Jax down early on, and then you decided to switch back, and I think that's really where it started to fall out of control for you, because now that you switch back to bottom, you're putting yourself in the position that Jax has actually got to go up against your Aatrox, and I don't think Aatrox had the ability at that point to shut him down completely, and he just farmed completely, and you guys didn't group and push hard enough for these global objectives. If you pushed maybe at the 20-minute mark, sort of really hardcore push these global objectives, you may have forced Jax to come out when he was slightly underfarmed, but again, it's just something that happened during that game, and maybe you were hoping to rely on the fact that you were Vayne, you can probably smash everyone when you get that far ahead and that late into the game, but Jax is kind of like the melee version of you, and he can do the same thing, so it was very close either way, and there was just a couple of team fights where it tipped in favour of Manchester, and that might just be because Manchester are one of our oldest teams. They're very, very practiced, and everyone knows that their team fights are probably one of their strongest points. To bring you out an example, there was a team fight in the pre-season friendly 2 where they were playing against ACOG, who unfortunately have now disbanded, but they were the other strongest team that were currently in our last season. They were 15k goal behind, which by any stretch of the imagination is a very big disadvantage. But Manchester teamfight mechanics, they won a team fight and then took a Baron and didn't end up winning the game, but it just shows you how powerful they are as a team.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was execution. They just performed better than us. Like, when we switched back, I feel like that could have worked out if we'd done it better, but we spent a lot of time with Aatrox running around, not sure what objectives to take and what to force in this, and we gave Jax free farm, and it was just a lot of poor execution. Like I said before, we miscommunicated. We had like 2 engages where we knew we had to do something and we weren't really sure what, and like 2 people went on this and died, and 3 people were over here split off from the team, and just bad engages and just poor communication is what cost it for us, I think, in the end.
Yeah, but well played anyway, and we're looking forward to seeing you play later on. In fact, right now.
So we're in lobby now, so...
Yeah, we'll be seeing you very soon.
Into lobby. I did actually think that I was invited to the wrong game. I was sitting there, and everyone invited me in, and then no one spoke, and I was like, am I in the right game? I didn't notice anyone on the right side, and I was like, I'm not in the right game, you need to invite so-and-so.
if you see lots of the mountain summoner icons, that'll be us. So...
Is that the mountain to like personify your challenge this game?
Yeah, we've got a mountain to climb, so it's the natural decision for us to all have a mountain summoner icon.
Good motivation right there, coming from AJMorgan, 2013 right there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna quickly try and get into the pick and ban phase in about 2 minutes or so. AJ,
I need to get into the game lobby.
And,
yeah, that's fine.
We'll be getting into game very shortly, so
thanks very much for having me, I guess. Goodbye.
I guess, damn. I feel like I've just, like, I don't know, kidnapped him and put him on stream. Well,
I need to get into the game lobby. What's the game lobby called?
It's going to be called, and I shall let you know. Oh, damn it. There we go. Right, so I'm just gonna quickly see about getting us into the game. We are gonna have, I believe, our next game of today is going to be Swag versus Staffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams are going to play out. We do have Lokazi up in the top lane for Swag, and I know he is very much a Riven player as well as a Lee Sin player. So it's going to be very, very enjoyable to see if they do let Riven through. I'm a very big Riven fan myself, so it is going to be interesting to see if they let it through, and if they do, then how are they going to counteract Riven as such?
And Swag have been really, really, really good at coming into this season so far. They went 3-0 in the first week of our. Sorry, they went 3-0 in the first week of our tournament, and I'm pretty sure they just they just won their first game through a bye, because obviously we had a couple of people drop out of the tournament. Or no, they were playing against Cardiff University. In fact, they might even be still in game, guys. That's my way of not getting into it as quickly. But I have met a player from Swagfish. He's called Ifrit. He's the AD carry now, but he was actually a top player for a team called Team Orange, which played at a February tournament in Liverpool a while back. That's when I think they were still at college. He was very skilled in top lane, actually mechanically a very sound player. And Kid Flares is the mid laner for Swagvicious, and he played Gragas, I think, every single game in the qualification tournament and did really well across the board. So he's also very, very good. I know he's got quite a large champion pool in the mid, but he tends to sort of opt for like what's currently in the meta right now. So Gragas, Castin, Oriana, Ari, that kind of thing. Really, really skilled guy. And like you said, the top laner is favours the Riven, and that's been banned out against him quite a lot recently.
Yeah, what's actually been the strategy versus Swag? And I'm not going to mention anything too much, but a lot of teams have commented the fact that what they do is that they believe that their top lane is very, very much predictable in the sense that it's champion pool, and what they do see is they should ban Riven, let Lee Sin open and pick a counter to Lee Sin, because they know that that's his two comfort champions, or that's what they believe is his two comfort champions. So it's very interesting to see if they are going to be doing that.